Hello everybody and welcome to Elite Weather. I'm your meteorologist, Mr. G, with you guys, and welcome to St. Louis, Missouri, as we're looking at the Gateway Arch. This is the gateway to the west, so they are enjoying some time out there on the pier, taking a look at over the Mississippi River there, and looking at the downtown area of St. Louis, and you can see all the clouds in the sky because they are expecting showers and thunderstorms, and they also have the flash flood watch for this area, so excessive amounts of rainfall is going to be possible with some of these thunderstorms as well, as we do have a warm front in the area that's going to be feeding a lot of showers and thunderstorms down through parts of central and into southern Missouri. So let's take a look at what's going on across the rest of America and talk about this weekend's weather forecast. So now as we move on with the rest of the forecast, we're going to be talking about this weekend and a very powerful storm system that's going to be moving from west to east across the northern half of the United States. And we're going to be looking at some severe thunderstorms, heavy rain, as well as some flash flooding. And most importantly is cooler temperatures for a lot of folks over the northern half of the country. Unfortunately, that relief is not going to make it to the folks down in the south. So if you're south along the Gulf Coast and in the southeast, unfortunately, you're not going to enjoy the benefits of that cold front. And if you're in the southern plains and along the west coast and the desert southwest, the heat, humidity is going to remain with you guys. So let's move on with the weather forecast and take a look at the national radar right now. And this is what we're seeing. And you can pretty much see where that frontal boundary is that extends up here from the northern plains and down toward the south through the central plains and through parts of the the middle Mississippi River Valley area. There's the Mississippi River there, and we're seeing those showers and storms extending down into Florida and then back up the eastern seaboard and into the northeast. So this is the outline of our cold front, of the first cold front, because there will be a secondary front, a reinforcing shot of that cooler weather. This front is not associated with the cool down that we're expecting to see. That cold front is further to the north, and that one's going to come down later this weekend and affect the Great Lakes and the Northeast. So here is the look at our current satellite image, our infrared, and here is that frontal boundary. You can see an area of low pressure moving across the northern plains, and that low will be a major player in the weather for the weekend across the northern half of the country, as it's going to make its way from the northern plains and across the Great Lakes and into the Northeast. And here is our current temperatures across the country. Very hot down there in Texas. Look at that, 103 in Dallas and 100 for the folks in San Antonio. So triple digits across the Big D and San Antonio, the Alamo City there. So it's very hot. So please, even though it's later in the day, in the evening hours, it is still in the 100s. So, and in Phoenix, we have a temperature of 110 right now. So it's still pretty hot out there. And we have the potential, and unfortunately, Dallas, Texas, you guys aren't going to be benefiting from any thunderstorms at all this weekend. So it's just going to be humid and hot down across the state of Texas. But you could see some showers and storms through parts of the Gulf Coast. So you might be able to find some relief from thunderstorms and from the heat down across the southeast this weekend. Now here is a look at the temperatures that we saw today. We saw those temperatures. 102 was the forecasted high for Dallas. 103 was the forecasted high for Oklahoma City. Now, Oklahoma City didn't hit 100 too many times this year. They usually average about 10 days a year at 100 degrees. They only had one or two so far, so this is only like the second day that they've seen a temperature of 103. Look at the 90 in my neck of the woods in Minneapolis. Boy, I'm a sweaty pig by the time I get home from work because it's so hot and it's humid out there. So we have the dew points in the 60s. So it feels like 100 degrees with the heat index here in the Twin Cities. It's really hot and unbearable. But check out the Northeast, where it's starting to get a little bit cooler. We see those temperatures in the 70s in Buffalo. We see that temperature of 80 in Boston. So very nice across the Northeast and into New England. But it's very hot along the Gulf Coast and then across the desert Southwest as well. Now here is tonight's forecast. It's going to be pretty nice across the Northeast. Lows in the 60s overnight tonight. And we're going to still see those lows pretty warm down across the Gulf Coast and over Texas. So the lower Mississippi Valley area, we're going to be seeing the temperatures overnight in the 80s still. So it's going to be very warm temperatures tonight. And across the state of Texas, some cities just won't get out of the 80s. So it's going to be pretty sticky out there. And so do what you can. You might want to kick the blankets off or sleep with the fan on, like you know, some of us have to sleep with the fan on because it's really hot out there, really hot even at night. So warm summer nights for you guys. All right, so here is our thunderstorm forecast, and this is where we could be seeing thunderstorms. Here is our frontal boundary here, and we have an area of low pressure up in the northern plains, so we're going to be seeing thunderstorms from Minnesota down through the Mississippi River to the south and into the southeast Florida, and then up the eastern coast to New England. So the potential for showers and thunderstorms. Some of these storms going to be severe up here across the Great Lakes, and we can see some scattered severe storms through parts of the Northeast. All right, so here's our rainfall, rain and snow forecast. No snow, but we do have rainfall in the forecast for the next 48 hours. As we look at the heavy rain that we're going to be seeing across the Illinois Valley, so Illinois, Missouri, parts of Iowa, we're going to be seeing heavy rain, even into Minnesota and North Dakota. We're going to be seeing heavy rain and thunderstorms that can lead to some flooding, and we're going to be seeing heavy rain through parts of the Appalachian Mountain Range. So a couple of days of some a very wet weekend is on tap for folks across the northern half of the country. So if you're in Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, you guys are we're gonna have kind of a wet weekend out there. Unfortunately, a lot of rain and thunderstorms. There's gonna be some flooding in some locations, maybe some areas of some severe weather as well, that we're gonna talk about in a little bit more detail in just a second here. And here is our current watches and warnings as of 7:25 p.m. Central Daylight Time here, and we're going to be seeing showers, and there are some scattered thunderstorms out there across the upper Midwest. You see scattered showers here over in South Dakota and Nebraska. We're seeing the scattered thunderstorms down through Iowa and into northern Missouri, and we're seeing thunderstorms down here to the south over Alabama and southern Georgia as well. And then some thunderstorms up there across the Northeast, so the Mid-Atlantic into the Northeast. So Pennsylvania, parts of upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, we're seeing some showers and thunderstorms this evening. Here is that thunderstorm threat that we bring, that severe threat from Friday today. We're seeing those severe storms this evening. We're going to see those severe thunderstorms through North and South Dakota, eastern Montana, northeastern Nebraska. I mean, not Nebraska, but Wyoming. But we still should see some storms through Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, southern Illinois, extreme western Kentucky, western Tennessee. We're going to be seeing showers and thunderstorms for your evening and the overnight hours tonight. And then for your Saturday, that severe threat starts to move east as that very strong area of low pressure. You see it's got that triple point, we have our warm front, cold front, and an area of low pressure. So we're going to be seeing severe thunderstorms, some of which can produce tornadoes right around in this region, right in here. So if you cross parts of southern Minnesota, Iowa, you can see the potential for some tornadic thunderstorms, some very strong thunderstorms with some large hail, damaging winds up to 75, maybe even up to 80 miles per hour. So we're going to be watching for those severe thunderstorms moving across the Midwest on Saturday. And on Sunday, our storm system starts to lift north and east across the state of Minnesota, across Wisconsin and Michigan, and heads towards southeastern Canada, and it's going to bring all that rain, those showers and thunderstorms across the upper Midwest and into parts of the Great Lakes as well. And then on Monday, our front starts to move into Canada, but you're still going to see it's going to continue to spread rain across parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, down through Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, and even further down to the south in the states of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Florida. We're going to be seeing showers and thunderstorms from this cold front as it makes its way from across the country and starts to bring some of that cooler air to some of you folks on the backside of that low. But if that front don't pass your area, it's going to remain quite warm and sticky for you guys. Now, as the system continues its cross-country trek, it's going to lift up into Canada, that area of low pressure with its occluded front, and we're going to see our triple point moving across the northeast. That's going to bring those showers and severe thunderstorms into the northeast and the mid-Atlantic as we head into Tuesday. So we're going to be seeing that heavy rain, but we're also going to be seeing that cooler weather with the northeast, a northwesterly flow, lower humidities. Temperatures will fall back down into the 70s and 80s. Some places might see overnight low temperatures like in parts of Michigan and Wisconsin, even into the 50s. So very nice sleeping weather for some of you folks across the far northern tier of the country. But it's going to be some nice improvement on some of those temperatures and humidities across parts of the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest, and eventually into the northeast. But unfortunately, in the south, not going to happen. But here is our look at our severe thunderstorm forecast for tomorrow, and we will see those severe thunderstorms across the high plains. So if you are in Iowa and Missouri, Kansas and Nebraska, mainly we're going to see that severe thunderstorm threat. There's going to be possible, and into parts of southwestern Minnesota as that area of low pressure makes its way into the state, and we're going to be seeing those severe thunderstorms for you. And those primary threat is going to be damaging winds, large hail, some isolated tornadoes, and heavy rainfall and flash flooding. And then on Sunday, our storms track to the east, so our severe weather moves into the Ohio Valley. So then we'll start to see our warm front moving across the Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois, but it's going to bring those severe thunderstorms with tornadoes, damaging winds, large hail, and heavy rain that can lead to some flash flooding. So all modes of severe weather will be possible as we head into Sunday across the Ohio Valley and into the Great Lakes. And then on Monday, the severe threat moves further through the Ohio Valley and into the mid-Atlantic. So upstate New York, Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, Virginia, Maryland, parts of New Jersey, and into Delaware, Maryland, we can see that severe weather threat again. And our primary threats is going to be damaging winds, heavy rain, and flooding and large hail, and maybe a tornado or two could be possible. Maybe some weaker tornadoes will be possible, especially if you're there across parts of Ohio. So if you're in Ohio, maybe around the Cleveland area down to Columbus, you have a better shot of experiencing a tornado with this severe weather event. So please monitor your local weather conditions as you head into Monday and into Tuesday. That severe weather will shift a little bit further to the east and northeast. Here is the temperatures for Monday as things start to improve across the northern half of the country. Now, we got to see those temperatures fall from the upper 80s down to the low to mid 70s. Look at those 70s on Sunday across much of the upper Midwest, and temperatures around 80 around the Great Lakes. So it's still warm, but not as hot. The biggest difference is going to be lower humidities as this cold front moves through. So once that cold front moves through your area, you will notice a drop in the temperatures and the humidities, but the temperature drop won't be that significant, but the humidity will be much improved for at least a few days or so. Look how much nicer it gets across Wyoming. Temperatures in the 60s and lower 70s. So some folks will get some relief, but unfortunately where most of the people live, it's going to still remain hot and sticky for some of you folks. But I will mention that improved humidities for places like Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Minneapolis, much better for a few days at least before that high pressure builds back in and it gets back hot and sticky. So here we are to talk about the desert Southwest a little bit. I'm going to step off the camera here as much as I can. Now we're going to talk about that weather we are going to be seeing across the southern tier of Texas and the desert Southwest for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It's going to remain hot, and across the desert Southwest, those temperatures will be in the 110s, so that 110 to 115 degree range from Palm Springs, Phoenix, Tucson, as well as into Las Vegas. El Paso as well will be in those triple digits. Del Rio, Texas, we're going to see that heat into Dallas, Fort Worth, and even Houston. So all of Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and Southern California, we will see that heat, and those monsoon thunderstorms also will continue through the weekend. But we will see those storms decrease in coverage, but some isolated storms will still be possible across parts of Arizona and into the Rockies. Here is a look at the heat index that we're going to see across mainly Texas and the deep south, so Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and into Mississippi. Those heat indexes are going to be in the 100 to 115 degree range. So again, take those precautions to stay hydrated, stay cool, and so that you won't be having to go to the doctor or to the hospital because you having heat stroke or heat related illnesses. So please be very careful when you're dealing with this type of heat and humidity. And here are some of those heat alerts that we're going to be seeing across the South and the desert Southwest as we move through Monday afternoon and evening. So excessive heat across central and northern and eastern Texas, all of Louisiana, western Mississippi, the southern half of Arkansas, all of Oklahoma, and into the desert Southwest, where we're going to see temperatures over 100 degrees and heat indexes over 100 or near 110. So you guys are going to get that excessive heat. Everybody in the red is going to get a heat advisory or a heat watch in effect for these areas. Okay, so no heat relief in sight for you guys across the state of Texas for tomorrow. Again, still going to be hotter than the hubs of hell across the state of Texas and down across the South. So enjoy. So that flash flood issue we're going to deal with, I'm going to come back onto the camera now. So we're going to talk about our flash flooding across the northern plains and the upper Midwest, so North and South Dakota and through parts of Montana and into Wyoming. We don't talk about these states that much, but you will see the potential there for flash flooding across the Great Plains and the high plains of the higher terrain out there across these are the great states of the Wild Wild West. We're going to see those thunderstorms, and then severe storms with flooding is going to be possible through the Missouri Valley as well, and into parts of the Northeast up here, through parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and into Maine. Again, we're going to see the potential for more heavy rain. Remember, a couple weeks ago, we had all that heavy rain and flooding through Vermont, New Hampshire, and down as far south as Pennsylvania that actually cost the lives of several people. Again, we have the potential there for more rain and flooding. Here is that severe thunderstorm threat that we're going to see all over, everywhere from through your day on Friday, today, and this evening. We're going to see those thunderstorms across Missouri, and severe storms across the central plains of Kansas and into Nebraska, and the potential for severe storms down across the southeast. Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, southern Georgia, and severe storms tonight in the northeast through parts of upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania. We can see some severe thunderstorms tonight. And then severe thunderstorms for your Saturday across a big portion of the Central Plains. So Kansas and Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa, parts of Minnesota, as well as South Dakota, where we have a big severe threat tomorrow, and tornadoes is going to be possible with damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour, some very large 2 to 3 inch diameter hail, and excessive rainfall and flash flooding is going to be likely as well. So please be careful if you're out traveling or out enjoying the day tomorrow. Pay attention to the weather, guys. All right, so here we go. That flood threat across the Midwest tomorrow. Down across the upper Midwest here through Illinois and Indiana, and then through parts of the high plains. So Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, over to southeastern Montana, northeastern Wyoming have that potential, likelihood for excessive rainfall that will lead to flash flooding. But elsewhere across the Midwest, from the rest of Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, down to Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and even to parts of Tennessee and Kentucky, we have the possibility of getting enough rainfall to lead to some flooding issues in those areas. So again, everybody's under the gun for a piece of this, all right? So we all going to get some. So enjoy your weekend, everybody. I will see you tomorrow evening with another video as we get ready for the upcoming work week. So my name is Mr. G, enjoying life with over 500 subscribers. We added another 15 over the last day or so. So I'm glad to see that the channel is starting to get a little bit of life. Come on, guys, hit those likes. Hit me with those comments and subscribe to the channel. Help your boy out and help me grow my channel. I hope to be monetized by the time I finish my degree. So go on and help me out. Help me build up the channel. Okay? Thank you for watching Elite Weather. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.